Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to play PENI PARKER in Marvel Rivals. So in this ultimate guide I'll be showing you how to play one of the more complex Vanguard tank characters in the game. Now PENI is more than just like a setup, camp, and shoot. She's got a lot of complex abilities and she actually has some good mobility despite being quite slow if you don't have the ability set up. Like you can see here, her movement speed is alright, but when we touch over into the webs we get a nice boost of speed. And we can also use the webs to sling ourselves around and bungee jump ourselves too, so like we can move ourselves away and then sling back to here. You want to have your 3 webs on the ground at all times because these will heal you for around 40 health per second. And in addition to this, you can also hide your spider mines in them and they can't be destroyed by enemies when they're in your webs. However, if we throw our mines down outside of an area, the enemy can shoot at it and destroy it. So you can see here, we're able to take it down. They do 100 damage each, and her shots here will do 30 damage each, and they cannot headshot, unfortunately. Otherwise, she'd be pretty broken, overpowered. But 30 damage with a bit of splash, and the splash radius is not large, and it seems to do about half damage at the end of its splash range, so about 15 damage each. This can be nice for finishing off enemies, but we also have on our alternative fire a web bind here, which has a pretty short cooldown of only 3 seconds, and it stuns the character for 0.7 of a second, but it'll also deal a tiny bit of damage, so we can actually take enemies out while using this, and you'll see here in just 1 second, there's a unique icon for it too. So yeah, I'm just waiting for them to get a little lower. There we go. The little spider web can knock out enemies. But a big thing that we want to be using is our spider nest here. So with shift, we can set down this nest. And what this will do is it'll create a huge area of webs for us to move around with. And it'll drop out little spider mines every once in a while. And they will go and chase down enemies. So this is really nice because typically we're going to be setting these in areas that enemies will be running towards. So like on positions, and then they can go and explode, take out the enemy. But these little ones, they just do a little bit of damage. But if anyone steps on this web, they're going to get blasted with them. So they can provide a nice bit of damage, but the big thing is these heal us. So having these webs here can give us 40 health per second. This doesn't stack if you have multiple, but if we don't have any of the if we don't have any over health shield, I'll show you what we can do here. So we'll just let this run off. We have the 800 health here, and it'll decline about 50 per second if we don't have our web. But if we go and jump onto this area with double web, we actually gain our over health a little bit quicker than if we were to just go onto here. But the nice thing is having this shield, having this arachno web set up can actually take out enemies if you have it in a really good position. I would recommend not setting it out in the open, and actually you can use shift to bring it back and you'll get it back. Depending on how much health there is left, you can recover this a bit quicker. But we typically want to be putting it in some place that it's hidden, but still long enough that we can actually reach out and hit enemies with this. So it's a bit of a game that you have to trial and error. It's going to have a pretty large radius, but depending on the elevation, it's going to have different amounts of length in where it goes. But another thing is we actually have a very powerful ability with our ultimate. So with the ultimate, we get ourselves the spider sweeper, which can do 2 different things. So when we go into our ultimate, we get an extra 850 health. And if you hold down your left trigger here, you'll see that we attack every few seconds, every 1 second here. So I'd recommend going with this and just attacking. But what's also nice about this is we drop down mines too. So those mines will hunt down the enemy and deal damage over time. Kind of similar to the mines that come from our spider web there. But typically what you want to be doing is holding down your spider sweeper attack. You can press right click and then it'll drop a bunch of arachno mines, which you can only drop about 7 of them. They will go and hunt down the enemy and they'll drop about 17 total of these. Our ultimate is nice, but you can be knocked out, and people are starting to knock out PENI a bit more with this. But you can see here, our attacks are pretty good. I would recommend just holding down the left trigger and then switching and pressing your arachno mines whenever you need to set up or you can't hit anyone. But typically you're going to want to be swinging at as many enemies as you can. There's going to be a lot of chances to take them out. But overall, PENI's really good at just zoning and holding down defensive positions. She's one of the best defensive characters in the game, and this is due to her being able to drop a bunch of mines on the ground. So you can see here, we can just drop 3 of them, and it's going to be 3 mines will take out pretty much any character that's not a tank. And if they are a tank, we got a bunch of other tricks up our sleeves to deal with them. So you do have a decent alternative fire. You can also grab them and hold them in place so your mines can go and grab them. And yeah, she's got a lot of great options. And also if you're running back to the point, you can use your spider web to move a lot quicker. So that's really nice because if you're coming back from a respawn, you can use your spider web to propel yourself a little bit quicker throughout the world. So This is nice for just, you know, if you need to go a little quicker, you can use this to get yourself into position a lot faster. So I recommend using this, and it also will create these temporary health webs that are really useful for us. So I'll be showing you what Penny looks like in a game here so you can get some best tips and tricks for that. Penny is all about setting up, so making sure that your spider nest is not in the way of combat, but still in a way that you can set up and get the mines to hit enemies is perfect. So right here, it's behind a wall. Having 350 health, it does have a bit more health than most enemies, but the thing is, it's going to get hit by a lot of area of effect attacks like Venom's Dive and other splash damage attacks. But with Penny, it's really about holding down a defensive position. Don't overextend with this move, because you can see there we have about 800 health and it's quickly going down. But I've seen some healers here, and there was a Black Widow. I was able to go and get 2 of their healers out, so that was ideal. We're dropping a bunch of mines that were taking a bunch of health out of Venom there, but sometimes you do need to retreat and get to your webs where you can get some healing. Or luckily I had the cloak there, that was, or dagger, which was healing me there. But the nice thing about Penny is you can see we can get some knockouts whenever we're outside of combat too. So yeah, they started to push the payload here, and I put some mines on the front of it. You have those 4 mines, you can place down a number of them at any given moment, so you want to have as many down as possible. And you're going to want to fire your gun right into the core of the enemies. If you can take out like their backline support, like a healer, that is ideal. Or even something like Black Widow or Hawkeye, even just applying damage to them will make them retreat a bit, which can give your team a bit of a chance to help get in. But strategically using your ult is important. So we were able to take down Venom there. That was a nice overextend. And I had a bit of health there, so I didn't really care about getting too risky. I just wanted to get in and drop a bunch of mines in an area because I was able to get a nice easy triple there. So that's the thing with Penny, is she's got crazy damage, and if you need to get back, you can always use your web to sling your way back, as you can see there. So a lot of mobility, but again, really using your ultimate to set up a bunch of mines is very useful, especially if it's in a spot like this where we're playing defense. And also, since you have ranged, you can take out the Iron Mans, the Storms, and the Iron Fists that jump away like you just saw there. That is kind of our goal, is to take out the more squishy ones, because their damage isn't very high. Like someone like Doctor Strange has a lot more damage than us, but still, we got pretty good splash damage. As you can see, we're able to get a bunch of extra hits off. And if we're holding a position, this is a completely different game mode. Set mines everywhere, and you can kind of play near the front and the back. You want to be moving around. Setting up your webs to be able to teleport around is ideal. But holding this position is all about getting mines all over the ground, because that can take out some of the squishier enemies and help with taking down tanks as well. And it's just a nice deterrent. So also having your spider nest here will give you that healing, which is extremely useful, especially if your healers go down. It's nice to be able to recover yourself somehow. But yeah, really, in the defensive maps like this, Penny shines, where you can just set up, camp, get your mines out, and deal a bunch of damage to the enemy. But as you can see, there's some that can just be a little bit quicker. Like Psylocke is a very difficult target for us to deal with, unless you can get a bunch of mines down to damage them, because they just move so quickly. But this is a pretty good guide on how to play Penny in Marvel Rivals. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Marvel Rivals Penny, and I will see you all in the next video. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.